again, everybody. This is Derek coming at you with another Wargaming and miniature video. In today's video, we're going to be continuing on with our What's in the Box series. And in today's What's in the Box, we're actually going to be looking at what's in the bag. This is an Old Glory 15's starter army for Field of Glory. Field of Glory starter army number 17, which should be Burgundians. All right, so you can see it comes with a ton of miniatures. This thing weighs a good 5 pounds. Let's go ahead and open this up and see exactly what we get inside. All right, we're opening up the Ziploc, dumping it out. I'm super excited about this. I've been wanting to put together a Burgundian army for a long time. Now understand, this is a Field of Glory starter army, but I will be putting it together for a Meg army or a Mortimer Glorium. So maybe I'll put up here what exactly is supposed to be in a Meg army, and then let's see what we actually get. Low Countries Spearmen, Battle Group 1 and 2. Now, also this should be a 100 Years War Burgundian army. Maybe a Burgundian Ordnance, Mounted Men-at-Arms, Battle Group 1 and 2. It's a lot of cav. Peasants Battle Group. Crossbowman Battle Group. Command for everything. English Longbow Battle Group. They put a number and scratched it out because apparently there's one. And then Picard Longbow Battle Group. Picard. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to open one of each type. So we're going to open one of the Low Countries, the Peasants, one of the Mounted, one of the Command, one of the Crossbows, one of the Picards, one of the English. So we're going to open each of these and take a look and see what the figures look like. Okay, this is the Picard Longbow Battle Group. All right, so it looks like I'm getting 32 longbowmen. These are the Picard longbowmen. I would consider them Burgundians, but they have they've got a special rule in Meg, and I'm not sure if I really understand it, but the Burgundian troops are formed in a 3-figure loose formation, and they are crossbowmen, right? Now, I can upgrade my crossbowmen to longbowmen, but I'm only allowed to upgrade 2/3 of my crossbows. So here's 1/3 crossbows, and then this would be 2/3 of my crossbows. Out of the total amount, for a Magna army, remember, I can have 16 bases. So if it was 15, it would be easy to say 10 bases, right? So I could do 10 bases out of 15. Upgrade to longbows, and here are the 10 bases, and it gives you 2 extra figures, because potentially in Field of Glory they would be mounted as a 4-figure unit stand, and if that's the case, they do actually easily divide by 4. All right, now these Picard longbowmen, the most you have are, well, what I've noticed is 3 different poses. one of the poses has his hand pulled back like he had just shot, and then these two have their hands up by their chin or their ear, so they're drawing. One of them has like a soft campaign cap, and the other one has a helmet. Yeah, I don't really see a whole lot of armor on these guys. But that could just be a surcoat over. And his campaign hat has a really big drape on the side. That's really cool. Plus, they have arrows on their back. This guy has arrows tucked up under his arm, in his underarm. Okay, but we'll look at these very closely at the end when I do a zoom in. Okay, so let's look at the crossbowman. Because remember, 2/3 of my crossbowmen can be longbowmen. And there can be a total of 16 stands of crossbowmen. Well, total archers. And of course, these are also going to be loose. These guys have a couple of different helmet styles. Looks like bassinet, sallet. Yeah, bassinet or sallet. Well, there's 6 stands right there. Well, there's 8. So, so that's 24 figures. There, he goes right there. Yep, there's a total of 8 stands. That works out really well. 8 stands of crossbowmen. This guy's got his bow down with a sallet. He's got his bow up with a sallet. And this guy's got a bassinet. That looks like the 3 poses of crossbowmen. Okay, the next battle groups that we're going to be looking at, or the next battle group, is the low... Okay, hold on. Yep, okay. It does give you 2 battle groups. I just wanted to compare the bows. But it does give you 2 bags of the low country spearmen. In Meg, these are called low country pikemen. The low country pikemen are a close formation, so you're going to have 4-figure bases. Okay, in this bag, it gives you 25 figures. This guy's got a... Yeah. Looking at a sallet walking. A sallet standing. Looks like another type of helmet, like maybe a bassinet sallet kind of deal. But again, it looks like there's 3 main poses. Yeah, and it looks like you could do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stands. This might be an extra figure by accident. 6 stands, but it comes in 2 bags, which you can make 2 units of 6 stands for a total of 12 bases, which falls in line with the medieval Burgundian Meg army list. All right. I'm not sure how long the pikes are supposed to be, but I'm sure it's not this long. This is like 80 millimeters. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You get like 12 poles. If you were to cut them in half, that would be 24. Which is what you need. Okay, the next bag we're going to be looking at is the peasants. And in Meg, these are called the village levy. Oh, and there are a lot of figures. The village levy is loose, so that means 3 figures per base. Oh yeah, they're definitely villagers. They're definitely peasants. In Meg, you can actually only have 4 bases. So I don't know why there are so many. In Field of Glory, maybe you can have a lot more bases than this. But that's a lot of peasants. I cannot imagine any army needing this many peasants. Even if I based them up as like a mob. Okay, I'm just going for total count right now. Okay, I broke them down into groups of 5 just so I could count them. You get 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 64 peasants. That is way too many peasants. Now, I wonder if I could field them as different types of units. Like this guy's got a shield and a spear. I could maybe, and this guy's just got a spear, right? That looks like an axe of some kind, a shield and an axe. Okay, 64 different models and 9 different poses that I can count of. So in Meg, you're only looking at maybe 18 figures needed for 6 stands. So this is enough to do 2 armies worth of peasants. Okay, we'll look at all those in a minute when I zoom in. Okay, we're going to take a look at the English longbowmen next. These would be good for not only the English army, but also allies for the Burgundian army. The English longbow units are also loose, so they would be 3 figures per base. It looks like, and I'm only going to be able to have 4 bases, so it looks like they give you way more than you need. So the Meg army list and the Field of Glory army lists have got to be different. They give you 32. 32 English longbows. And this looks just like a Picard longbowman. Almost, it does. It looks exactly... Yeah. English or Picard, they look exactly the same. A longbowman, I guess, is a longbowman. All right, this next group we're going to look at is the mounted men-at-arms. These horses, like that horse has a plume on it, and this one has a horn, but they are definitely armored horses. This one just looks like it has a blanket, and then this one has the front and back blanket. I can't remember what that blanket is called, and that one's different as well. And that one is different as well. So those horses, every horse there is different. These are all different. That's different. Okay, he's a duplicate. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, it should be divisible by 3 because remember they form up in a loose formation. Okay. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bases worth. Okay, the Burgundians have something called the Burgundian Knight, but they also have something called the Castilier and the Valets. Think of them like squires. They can be mounted with the knights, and in that case, you can actually have a total of 14 bases, 8 knights and 6 valets. But it does say something about them mixing. So valets may be deployed as a separate unit, or they can form up 50-50 with the knights. Plus they have something called the Italian knights. And they also have something called the French men-at-arms, which is also cavalry. The Italian knights, maximum 4 bases, and the French maximum 4 bases, would leave only 4 bases for Burgundians, or you can use one or the other, or a mixture of Castiliers, Burgundian knights, however it works out. Because in the starter, they're just called men-at-arms, and you get 2 bags of them, so a total of 12 bases, which would be just fine for Burgundian knights. You could do a unit of 4, and then a unit of 4 Castiliers. That would be 8. And then you could have 4 more bases of either Italians or French. See, like some of these have lances and some have swords or axes or warhammers. This one guy here actually has a mace with an open bassinet. The helmets are like pig face, bassinets, or salets. Lance, salets, pig face, bassinets. Okay, so you got 3 flat bassinets, 3 pig face bassinets, 3 salets. And then over here you got 2 hammers and salets, 2 axes and pig face, 2 pig face swords, 2, I don't remember what that's called. Is it called a dog face? I don't remember. But sword forward, sword back, and then this guy's got, which is the odd man out, really. He's got a mace. So if you look at it just like this, you could make 3 stands of lances and then 3 stands of hand weapons. So you might consider these guys to be, or you could mix and match, because Yeah, all the knights have what's called charging lances. So if I was to make, hypothetically, if I was to make 6 stands with this group, I wouldn't be able to do 2 lances in every stand. 3 stands with 2 lances and 3 stands with 1 lance. But I probably wouldn't do that. I would probably put, like I said earlier, I put all 3 lances in one group, and then this way I could have my front rank having the lances, and then the second rank having the sword, axe, or mace. Or I could mix it up. I could do 4 stands with lances, 2, 2, 2, and then 3, and then putting the singles here, 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 just to give variety, or whatever. And with the other bag, you're doubling this anyway, so you can make your valet castiliers as maybe the guys without lances, and then your knights, either Burgundian, Italian, or French with the lances, just to make them, just so they stand out and you know which ones are which. And just because the guy's carrying a sword on the model doesn't necessarily mean he doesn't get the lance ability on the tabletop. Okay, so there is so much variety here. It's going to be a little hard for me to show. Now, these are all different. And then these horses, the armors and the coatings and stuff like that, I'm just going to be able to, I'm only going to show you. And then the final bag I want to show off is the command bag. Now remember, command can be used for generals, but it can also be used in your battle groups like standard bearers and musicians. So I'm curious, what do we got? We got all kinds of like men-at-arms. Okay. Interesting. Okay, we got 6 horses here. Now, I don't know if that's supposed to be a standard. It probably is. It's supposed to be a standard bearer that could easily go in your knight units. And then you got some foot standard bearers. Then you got some commanders for your knight units. So there's 6, that's 2 more bases of cavalry. If you wanted to intermix them in your horses, because you've got 3 standards, which could easily be with the lances to flesh out the lances. Okay, and then you got these foot musicians. Like these guys are carrying like big bill axes, glaives. And then, okay, so, and then there looks like there's 3 foot commanders, 3 foot standard bearers, and 3 foot musicians. But these all look like men-at-arms. Yeah, or dismounted knights. Which this starter army did not include any dismounted men-at-arms. But if I was personally making a Burgundian army, I would definitely have some either dismounted men-at-arms or dismounted knights as an option. It does come with pikemen, and I guess these guys could go in with the pikemen. I could make 3 units of pikemen with these guys. Looks like, okay, these 2 guys are the same. He's different. These two guys are the same. He's different. These two guys are the same. He's different. These two guys are the same. He's different. Yeah. He looks like these guys should be generals. I don't know, not necessarily mounted commanders. You can always put a general and a standard together on a base, and the standard that the heraldry that the standard is carrying would let you know who the commander is. But if you don't put heraldry with your commanders, then they could be more generic, right? But I would probably want to do that. I would probably want to add a standard with them. Okay, so let's go ahead and adjust the focus of the camera. Let's zoom in. I'm going to rapidly go through these figures so that we can get a look and see what they actually look like. All right, let's take a look at one of the command figures and then we'll work our way backwards. This is the guy with the axe. Got a nice looking crest there on his head. Another foot commander. Standard bearer. I'm sorry, I meant musician. One of the standards. He's got a warhammer. A mounted standard bearer. Another mounted standard bearer. Mounted command. This is another mounted command I would consider for general because there's no weapon in his hand. One of the horses. Another. See, the blanket's different, the armor's different. All right, one of the longbowmen, either Picard or English. Another, the soft cap, the campaign cap. See how it drapes down the left side there. Got a few mold lines that need to be fixed. Plus it needs to be washed. Some of the many peasants or levies. Another. More levies, peasants. Again, I'm trying to fly through these because there's so many. The peasants are some of the best looking models in this set. Some of the crossbowmen, there's 3 different poses. All right, I had to clean it up a little bit because it was looking wrong. Okay, the men-at-arms. There's the sword and flat bassinet. Sword and a pig face. Axe, pig face. Looks like a Warhammer Sallet. A mace and an open Sallet. I might consider him a commander or leader because he's unique. A lancer. Another lancer. Fairly large variety of horses, horse blankets, and things like that. All right, so let's do a little bit of a recap here before I close this out. The English longbow and the Picard longbow, they look like they have the exact same models. All right, you get a Picard longbow, which I'm not really sure what the difference between a Burgundian longbowman and a Picard longbowman is. But the Picards actually had crossbowmen. It says Burgundian, Picard, or Low Countries crossbowmen. And then you just have crossbowman battle group. And then you have an option to upgrade your crossbowman to longbowman. And so you can do up to 2/3 of your battle groups as the upgrade. And then there's English longbows that you can pick up as allies. There you go. So all of those work in the Meg. There's peasants, which in Meg calls them village levies. You have the command, which allows you to put 3 models into 3 battle groups. To make command elements like musician, standard, and officer in the foot, and mounted. You get a mounted officer and a mounted standard bearer for 3 battle groups, or you can use them as generals. But I'm not sure how I'm going to do it. And then you get 2 battle groups of Low Country spearmen, when I say 2 battle groups, I mean 2 bags worth, because Meg and Field of Glory do it slightly different. And then you get 2 bags of mounted men-at-arms, which are 50-50 lancers and hand weapons. So if you want to do a mixture of lances and hand weapons in a battle group, you can, which is what I would do. I would put the front 2 bases as lancers, and then the back 2 bases as hand weapons. That's the way I would do it. But that would only be 4 stands, and you could do a total of 12 stands with this. So you could actually do 3 battle groups. I would probably do 2 as Burgundians, because you can have up to 8 stands as Burgundian knights, and then you can have up to 6 stands of valets, and so I would intermix them, and then you can have Italians and even French. So yeah, it's I don't know how I would set this up, but to be honest with you, I'm slightly disappointed with this, to be honest. For one reason, you get way too many peasants, right? I wish that I got less peasants and maybe a battle group of dismounted knights. I think that would be very cool. I could have up to 12 stands of dismounted knights. And if you're going to include English longbows in the starter army, you should also include some English dismounted men-at-arms, because the longbowmen and the men-at-arms worked together, and you can actually have mixed battle groups. I can have like longbowmen and men-at-arms in the same battle group. So too many peasants, no men-at-arms. So I'm a little upset with that. But that's easy fixed. What I'm planning on doing personally is maybe painting up all these peasants and then using what I can in my various armies, and then whatever extras I'll put on the store. All right, guys, thanks for coming out and checking out this video about the Field of Glory Starter Army number 17, which is Medieval Burgundy for Field of Glory. But I'm planning on using it for Meg, and I will see you in the next video.